17th, 2026. Ashley, will you please take the roll?
Bordner,
Here.
Hoy,
Here.
Kilby,
Here.
Miller,
Here.
and Sabo is absent.
Okay, join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. I move to adopt the agenda as presented. Do I have a second?
I second.
The only thing I want to say about the adoption of the agenda is that in item 807, it's been updated online and it's updated in your agenda. The new contract amount for the 6th class, it's specifically for Paul Prine, should be $2,250. So I just want you to know that you're approving and adopting that agenda that has that correction, since we just found it.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes. Item 1.04, I move to approve the regular meeting minutes from May 27th, 2026. Do I have a second?
Second.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bordner.
Yes.
Item 2.01. Wait, this is, I say this, right? Yep.
Somebody can.
Recommend that the Board of Education approve the following salary increase effective August 1st, 2026. Okay, I make a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Kilby,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy.
Yes.
All right, superintendent's report.
School calendar, are you ready?
Ahead
This
of
is actually
schedule. I like this. I like this.
2027,
Yeah.
2028. So this is super exciting. So remember that there's a 30-day public hearing, so where we share the information and then any comments that come in, we'll take and consider, and then you'll actually end up voting on this at the July meeting. So you won't see it at our second meeting in June. So here are the facts for the 2027-2028 calendar. 73% of 196 staff votes preferred this calendar. They were given two options. CFEA support was 79%, OPSI support was 70%, and exempt employees was 54%. The first day of the calendar is Thursday, August 19th, 2027. The last day of the calendar is Wednesday, May 24th, 2028. So we are getting all the days in before Memorial Day, and the other great part is that we get more days in first semester, so they're actually more balanced, which is always our struggle, which is why sometimes we run longer in May. The other fun facts are kindergarten and preschool dates, and the preschool last day aren't yet determined. They'll just be finalized in July. We expect to have this done as soon as possible. Gurney's using their additional time right now to evaluate the start of the year experience and to make any recommendations for change based on best practice for 2027. The last day for seniors and graduations have also not been set. This is dependent on the AP board and OHSAA. So we have to wait for those two things to finalize those dates. The 4 PD days are calculated into the total instructional hours during the school year, so that's October 12th, November 2nd, February 18th, and May 25th. And then I just need to go over the student hours. The instructional hours at Gurney, the student day will be 8:25 to 3:25. That's a 6.25 hours. Kindergarten is pending determination of the start date, but grades 1 through 3 would be 1,069 hours. CFIS students have an 8:25 a.m. to 3:20 day. That's a 6.5 hour day. That means that grades 4 through 6 are in session for 1,106 hours. CFHS and CFMS have a student day from 7:40 to 2:50. That's 6.75 hours per day. Middle school and high school, so grades 7 through 12, have 1,168 hours, all which exceed the minimum standards by the state. So that is the proposed calendar.
What does the comp day mean?
That's in the negotiated agreement, and that would be for parent-teacher conferences.
Oh.
They get a comp day. So more in July. If you have any questions or comments, just let Jen Benko or myself know.
Wait, so is there school on the comp days or no?
No.
Okay, I think that's
Well,
not
unless
super clear
the-
on here.
Unless it's only for certain grade levels. So it
Okay.
depends what grade levels it's for. I'm happy to have,
Just, it says no school pretty clearly for all the other colors, and
Okay.
comp day doesn't say no school, so I could see that being confusing.
okay, I'll have them fix it. It may just be for a certain grade band too. Sometimes K-6 comp day is different than
Right.
the 7-12, so we can
Yeah,
fix those
the
colors.
description of the events over here on November 24th to 26th, we wrote no school Thanksgiving break, so I don't think anybody has school that day. And then the other one is
May
specific
19th.
to,
Yeah, it says no
PK
school.
PK6.
PK6,
So 7-12 has school.
yeah. Right. Okay.
That should bring us to Mike.
So I get to talk about personal communication devices, which is my favorite topic to talk about. So I'm just here to give you an update on how the year's gone and kind of where we're going from there. So if you remember, at the start of the school year, the state passed a law saying that smartphones, cell phones were not allowed during the school day from bell to bell. We implemented that starting in August. That actually went very well for us. I think there was a lot of concern initially from families about that, but all in all, feedback was that part went really well. We have always allowed, at the high school level since 2014, 2015, we've allowed students to bring in personal devices, iPads, MacBooks, et cetera. Prior to this year, I would say maybe 40 kids tops would take advantage of that. Once we implemented the no smartphone policy, that number skyrocketed. So the problem is students are bringing in iPads and MacBooks mostly to circumvent the no cell phone policy. Why? Because those devices can mimic what a phone can do. So while they weren't allowed to have their smartphone out, they could still have an iPad or a MacBook, they could still text, they could still get on social media, they could still do the things that, the whole reason we didn't want them to have phones in the first place. So those have become a pretty big distraction this year. Both teachers have reported, honestly, in classrooms, it was one of the biggest distractions at the high school level. So we reached out to our parents, 7-12, and we asked them specifically, what impact would requiring everybody to just use their school-issue Chromebook, what impact would that have on your family? So if we said, you're no longer allowed to bring an iPad or a MacBook or a laptop, what impact would you have? We had 211 responses across 7-12. Across the board, very, very, very positive. For the most part, we saw none or very little impact in terms of impact on their family. A lot of people viewed it as a great idea and felt like we should have done this a long time ago. There was a little bit of feedback in the survey about emergency communications. When I dug into the data, what it looked like to me is people were confused and thought that we were saying that students wouldn't be allowed to have a cell phone on campus at all. They misunderstood what we were trying to communicate there, so I put it up there that, again, suggestions include allowing cell phones at lunch or before or after school. We already have that, not at lunch, but before and after school. Some other comments in there focused on Chromebooks weren't great for certain courses, digital art, AP research, which we'll talk about here in a second. And then lastly, the other kind of theme that came out there was just stronger enforcement of how we're doing filtering. It was interesting because some of the results were like, oh, the filtering's too restrictive, it's causing us problems. And other comments were, it's not restrictive enough. So one of the things that I'm working on over the summer is kind of redoing that whole policy anyways. So I think in the fall, we'll have a better handle on that. I was happy with it this year, but again, we're going to adjust it a little bit more to kind of account for that feedback. So what we're proposing, or what I'm proposing, is that we adjust the policy so that students are no longer allowed to bring a personal device into school and that they need to use their school-issued Chromebook. There is an exception process. So if you have a student who is taking AP Research and wants to bring their MacBook for that course, they can go through the principal. If the principal approves it, it's fine for that course. It does not give them the ability to use that for all courses. It's just that specific course. I've worked with the high school. We'll have a form that you'll fill out. You'll express why you want it. You'll get your teacher to sign off so the teacher says, yes, this is a real use of this device in my classroom, and then the student will be allowed to use it. So that's it in a nutshell.
Okay.
So are you saying that the Chromebooks are not sufficient for that class?
So for example, like digital art,
Yeah, that makes
we already provide iPads to students that are using digital art. Some kids like to bring their own iPad for that because they can do some other things that our school iPads won't allow for. Again, with AP Research, you can do everything on the Chromebook. There are some kids that like to use their device for that, for extra purposes. But no, the Chromebooks can do everything.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm 100% confident in the Chromebooks.
okay.
I think we just have some preferences out there. People
Yeah, I
that
just
would-
wanted to make sure there wasn't,
No,
no one was getting a preference because they could afford a MacBook to bring in and.
sure.
Okay.
Will there be any language about enforcement of exemptions or abuse of exemptions should those devices pop up in
Yeah,
non-specific
we're
classes?
working through that and what that looks like. Again, part of the other thing that we need to work on is making sure that teachers are aware. Again, if it's allowed in this class and they break it out in your class, that's not allowed, and please make sure to report it, shut it down, et cetera.
Final comment. maybe.
Sure.
Just, in the previous slide, when you talked about parents' concerns about, which restrictions on the Chromebook and which aren't,
Yep,
I'm sure you're probably already working through this, but having worked with you about certain sites and, things that we were trying to accomplish with our children, maybe it just requires some parent education or like a simple, Google form where it's like, these are the things that we are asking for access to.
sure.
You know what I mean? So
Yep.
that we don't see the keep it classy sugar and, when we're trying to do
I know.
extra test prep.
Yeah, especially so the filtering is much more restrictive, K-6. It lightens up a little bit 7-8, and then it's way less restrictive, 9-12. We also do a lot of, I hate to call them individual policies, but I do work a lot with parents specifically for their own child.
Sure.
It's a little bit more work to manage, but again, it gives a kind of added value to our families, so we try to do that too.
Right. So back to the parent education.
Yeah, we can 100% do that.
All right, thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Just gonna do a presentation switch. While we do this, just wanted to thank everyone for coming on the last PD day for staff. For our assembly, we were able to celebrate all the buildings for receiving their 5-star banners, as well as all of the growth and work that they have done over the course of the year. Thank you. We were able to look at our entire growth since we started the strategic plan, and also had an opportunity to recognize our wonderful employees as they were getting ready to retire. So there was a video, and that has been posted, so it's something fun to watch if you'd like to watch the culmination of all the work this year.
The song was awesome.
Yeah.
We can talk a lot about AI and how that works, and being a musician, the pros and cons of that. But since I did it, I'll take responsibility. But something else I wanted to talk about, and we've been talking about for quite some time, is how we address hiring and maybe the creation and filling of positions. And so unfortunately, a lot of that work happens at cabinet and happens naturally, and you're unable to see how it all comes together. You'll see it in Ashley's fiscal reports as you see numbers change, but you may not understand what it looks like or what we're doing behind the scenes. And so unfortunately, we were given an opportunity to where I thought we could pull back the curtain and kind of show you what everything looks like, so that you can see both how we absorb what we can and how we learn what we can absorb and what we can't, so that we know exactly what position we need to create or hire, and as well as looking at the budget and our expectation to be as fiscally responsible as we can. So let's see if I can go the right direction. So when we do our work, we use 5 guiding principles, and it's students first. We always think about what services we're providing and what's the minimum interruption this change would cause. We have shared thoughtful distribution. So when we're asking our administrative team to take on, and in this case, it was 2 positions. In February, they took on Director of Human Resources and Operations, which was Chris Woofter. As you'll see on tonight's agenda, Jared Mulliman is going back to Mayfield, and so now we're absorbing all of the Assistant Superintendent of Student Advancement. So how do we distribute that? We determine what outside support would be needed while we're transitioning and while we're figuring out whether or not we need a position. One example I'll give you is that we had a math coach who resigned last summer. We didn't fill the position. We got our support through consulting through the ESC and determined that we didn't actually need to sustain either the ESC contracts or the position at this time because our coaches could cover. And in this case, you'll see there's an outside support consultant for this transition. We look at the savings and try to reinvest that back meaningfully to our students, especially when you're deficit spending. It's nice to put that back. And then evaluate, learn, and adjust. So what I'm going to show you tonight it may not be the final plan. So if we come next year and say, we're really struggling, we can't cover this, consulting isn't the way to go, and I'm talking both positions, like we're kind of figuring out if we need something or what that would be. And so that's why I just want to say this is where we stand as of now and the plan. So my numbers, because Ashley's going to talk about this too, are slightly higher than hers because mine only cover the educational positions and we're adding a fiscal position. So that number will actually be a deduction on what you see on the total up here, but it's the same kind of piece. So 159,000 is approximately what we'll save with Jared's position and the transition plan. The total savings that I'll show you from everything we were able to absorb is around, I think, 934,000 with the other position. Mine is at 986 because it's just the educational piece. And then there are 10 people that are picking up new responsibilities. I'll hit it that way. So what's not changing in the student advancement department, and I think this is really important because remember on that first slide we said it was a priority. The student advancement department still exists. So the leadership, had 3 parts. It had Jared as leader, assistant superintendent, and then a principal of instruction and a principal of data assessment. So all we don't have for that department is the lead, and we're picking up those responsibilities. All the work will continue, will function the same. Some teachers asked, what do I do if I have a PO for curriculum? Who does that? How does that work? And we've really been pushing that everything sustains. And again, the head role has been redistributed. So these are the primary jobs that we thought, based on Jared's position, that had to be filled. And again, this, I didn't do the one for Chris Woofter because we kind of did that internally in February. But this is what you're looking at for Jared. We have licensure and staff evaluation oversight. We have student programming. He worked with community ed. College career readiness, if you've seen his School Links presentation, to make sure that all that is followed through and carried through. professional development, the instructional leadership of things like our DLT and our coaches. And I put the HR pieces on there because we were learning, Jared picked up some of Chris's HR pieces, so now I'm picking those up. What I'm really losing is a person with a superintendent's license that can do evaluations. Because Jared and I covered all of the administrative evaluations in the district, which is about, I think, 15. And I'll pick all of those up, which are quite extensive. Sometime if you want an OPES lesson, I'd be happy to give that to you. Student success, advocacy, strategic direction. You'll see the name Roland. The board should be familiar with Anissa from the Schlechte Center. She's actually going to be the consultant that we're going to use to pick up some of the pieces that we need support with. You have Excel Tech College Credit Plus that naturally falls under the high school. You have things with, he had a counselor background, so our counselors, our clubs, those kinds of things. I'm looking at the wrong one. You have the leadership team and instructional coaching, which I talked about, training and student advancements. We have like public school works. We have all of our gifted coordination that fell in that department. And so that's still going to stay, and Sarah is going to take that on as principal of data and assessment. And then we have Title IX and Title VI compliance. What you need to understand is this is just the coordination. So the district has 2 coordinators. Jen Benko primarily does the coordination, but sometimes there's a conflict. And when there's a conflict, Curtis now will be the other coordinator. It's not the investigator. Title IX has a lot of different roles, and it's just important to understand this is just the coordination role. That's what Jared held. Okay, with that said, this is how I came to the total of what I think we'll save, and I put projected because some people haven't been hired completely, and some people still have maybe contracts to finalize, so dollars can change, and Ashley will have the exact presentation here. We'll keep watching in July once all the hiring settles out. But you can roughly see what Jared's position was. Personalized learning contract is Jake Miller. We've been working with him for 4 years. He services our teachers. He runs cohorts for personalized learning as well as assist with coaching and in classrooms. But we now are seeing an ability to reduce his time. And so that's what that is. The SLN roundtables contracts, that is the Schlechte network that I am in for my professional development. Schlechte is actually not going to exist in 2027. So the SLN network, the Superintendent Leadership Network, is actually going to go to a different path. I'm choosing not to do it so that we can also bring some money back in and do the contract with Anissa for what we really need this year. So it's not good. A year for me to stay in and to figure things out and to work is fine. And then the Schlechte Center contract is actually reduced since their contract, this was the Standards Bearers contract, will end in December. Anissa will be with the Schlechte Center and then with us starting in January. So that's why you also have 2 contracts that you're approving. And that's what the Stone Collaborative is. That's the new contract. And you can see Principal of Data and Assessment had to pick up extra days because of the extra responsibilities, as well as Jen Benko's position and Mike Doherty's position. And that gave us the cost. And when you put it all together, that's where it fell. So just in general, and again, please understand, my number is 1 employee short right now. And it will also be changing after we do some more hires on the 30th. We're looking at replacing, so we'll know if that number is going to bounce up and down. But the first column is positions that are not replaced. The second is contracts reduced or completed. The third is replacement at a lower salary. If you remember, some of that came from when a teacher resigns and then we can hire a new teacher at a lower rate on the salary step schedule, or it could be part of our MOUs that we did as part of negotiations. So that's where some of that money is. And then the negative would be new contracts and new staff, and that's where that other position I'll add in. So these are the positions that are not being replaced for the next school year, 2026, 2027. So I think we've talked it, the two gifted specialists were the two contracted positions that were brought in to evaluate and to edit our entire system and to make sure that we were compliant, make sure that our gifted structures were in place and that we were serving students to the best of our ability. And now that all that work's been done, we're ready to just have a coordinator, which is what Sarah's licensed to do. The classroom teachers, there were two positions that we absorbed.
This doesn't say. what
Oh, I'm
it
not
is.
saying, there, how's
There we
that?
go. Okay.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Classroom teachers have the two positions based on enrollment that we were able to absorb. We absorbed one building substitute position. Those are those year-long positions based on enrollment shrinking. And then student advancement. I'll click this first. These are the contracts. So the ESC contracts will be reduced by this amount, and then the Schlecht contracts. This includes both of those other numbers, the standards bearers and the SLN. Projected savings from the staff replacements for classroom teachers right now, and that's the amount that we have for who you'll be hiring some tonight, as well as an educational aide. These are the new contracts. Again, I'm missing one, but things that we talked about on the other slide. The wellness coaches, I just want to draw out to your attention. The wellness coaches have been serving Chagrin for quite a while through our ESC. So they've been a contracted person for the district. When we negotiated the new agreement, we negotiated that the wellness coaches would become part of the CFEA contract. So now they are employed by the district. And it's a long-standing position. It's very good, solid position. You'll actually, that's why on tonight's agenda, you'll have a job description to approve for them, because we don't have one on file here because it was through the ESC. So that's why you see a change in cost of what that would be. And then there are the other numbers for the positions that we talked about. So again, our commitments to our students and staff, these are the areas that we identified that would be the primary areas that Jared was responsible for, that it's crucial that we absorb and also ensure that the quality of service is provided. And again, this is just my reminder to you, this is the first attempt. So what I mean by that is that there still could be some things that change. We could have some teachers resign or add new positions. There's resignations on tonight's that will have to go through our filters, and we'll have to see how that will all fall. I just want to say that this was all built in about a week because it was a complete surprise, but it was good practice for me because I was able then to pull back the curtain and show you everything. And the numbers are strictly projections at this point because we don't have final numbers for every position because we still have a lot of moving parts that have to be finalized. But probably by the July or the August meeting, Ashley will have that exact chart for you to say, this is what we're saving this year. And now you'll be able to understand that number because you know behind the scenes what we've been doing with our staffing. So what comes next? For the last couple of days, I've been working on the professional development calendar for teachers and what that's going to look like for this year, based specifically on our end-of-year assembly, if you heard us talk, which was kind of ironic that we talked about total football and total learning and filling spaces and building triangles, and I had a square squad, and then 51 minutes later, I had a triangle. So I think it's just ironic how that all fell. But the district leadership team is next. We need to kind of think about restructuring that, what that will look like, especially with consultant support and our instructional coaches' routines, what those will look like. The team did do training with Anissa last week. That was already planned prior to the announcement, and she's been working to put pieces in play and been helping us for several summers as our admin retreat person. We'll work on our admin team development. It's going to take a lot of conversation with the team to find out where the holes are. If we hit a bump, how do we overcome it? To make sure that the people that are in charge of certain areas can manage, and if not, how do we figure that out and support them better? There's the financial finalization, which means that we'll get those numbers exactly tied in once we get everything finalized, and evaluate against performance. So savings against outcomes, gaps, and what's best for our students. And that's gonna take a little bit of work this year to figure out. So that's just kind of in a nutshell what we've been doing and working on behind the scenes for, specifically for Jared's transition as it was new, but gave an opportunity to kind of show you everything that's been going on with all of the hires and restructuring that's been happening.
Do you have a specific timeline with which you're going to check back and say, okay, is this working? What do we need to adjust? Or is it
We
going to be
meet
an
every week.
ongoing kind of thing? Okay.
We meet every week, and probably by February, if we're drowning, we'll have to come and say, we need support. And if I need to pick up ESC support, so ESC Educational Service Center can do contracts for short periods of time if we find that we have a significant gap. But I do think that we have a very capable team, and I do think there are growth opportunities for some to step into some of these roles and that it will be able to work. I just don't know how much of the two positions will truly be able to sustain. So we'll see. I'm confident, though. The plan I have, I'm confident that we'll make it a year at least.
When I want to speak, maybe, just so the public is aware, just to how much your commitment to professional development and some of your superintendent goals, which included developing, a playbook and writing out job descriptions for all of the positions that are in the district as it stood before the Jared announcement, really helps you be able to be as nimble as you were, because you're not having to start from scratch. You have spent so much time as in your, in your own head, in your, with your cabinet, right, with your teams, talking about those relationships and how those jobs all kind of work and interplay. So because of that year's worth of preparation and commitment to your own professional growth, you were able to present this to us and help us move forward much more smoothly than I think a different superintendent might.
I appreciate it. We worked really hard to make things as sustainable as possible, and being as nimble as possible is something we take pride in. Mike Doherty specifically picked up probably about 70% of Chris Wifter's job in those roles, and has really grown and thrived over the last couple of months, and he's still going and still smiling. So we were a little lighter on him. We took, Jen and I took a little more of the Jared load, but the team they work hard, they're committed to Chagrin Falls schools, and I think that's what's super important and to understand about our administrative team. They really do care about kids, so they'll do whatever it takes. But Jared is a loss. I mean, I need to tell you that, but
Yes.
we
wish him well.
wish him well. I think that's all I have.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Okay. So last month, I noted we were a little bit behind on the monthly reports and that we would catch up this month. So this meeting we'll be talking about April. Next meeting we'll talk about May, and then we'll be caught up. So the month of April, we started out with $25,398,000. We received $1,351,000. We spent $2,976,000 for a monthly deficit of $1,625,000 for an ending cash balance in the general fund of $23,774,000. We are in that period now where we've received all the taxes, so we're starting to spend down. So this is not unexpected. We knew that was coming. Looking at revenue compared to where we've been in the previous years, blue is current year, up a little bit. And again, these fluctuations here over the last couple of months were the timing on the taxes. I think we've hit that for a couple months. We've talked about that. This is what we look like when we compare the year-to-date to previous years. So you can see revenue is not going up significantly. Moving on to expenditures, when we're comparing to prior years, pretty close to last year. And, you know, this month of April is interesting because it's very similar to what the year-to-date looks like. This was the year that we cut expenditures, and then, you know, as time goes on, expenditures increase, and then over this past year, we've tried to stay as flat as possible. So this is the year-to-date. Again, just like I pointed out, from 20 to 21, expenditures went down, and then they've continued to grow. This year, the growth has slowed significantly. Cash fund balance, orange again is current year, gray is prior year. So just kind of looking at that, those peaks and valleys that we know and we expect. Cash is down from prior years. Again, this is, you know, we're nearing the end of this levy cycle. I know I say this every month, especially when we look at this one. We're starting to spend down. This is going to continue to go down for the rest of the fiscal year. Looking at the self-insurance fund, still holding pretty steady. This is, you know, exactly what we want to see. It means that the people who create the estimates for us and advise us on how much we should be taking in versus what we're expending are pretty good at their jobs. They estimated pretty darn close for us this year. This is our cash and investments. This pie chart hasn't changed much over the past several months and even several years. Most of our money, as always, is in Star Ohio. It's pretty liquid. We can move it from there into our checking accounts as we need it, because those checking accounts don't make a whole lot of interest, so we hold it in there in Star. So Jennifer hit most of this, so I don't really have to talk too much. This is a different viewpoint on it. I put it in here because, you know, as we are talking, we're starting to talk about levy. We were maybe thinking that we should have been on. This year is where we expected we would have been going for a levy. We have made the commitment to push another year. And the way we're able to do that is through all of these things that we talk about. We kind of talk about it all the time at a very high level and tell you, you know, we're always making decisions. We don't automatically replace things. And so Jennifer kind of went into that in a lot more detail for you tonight. But this is what we've been able to do this year. And a lot of this is, we're always doing this, but this year we've focused a little bit more on it, I would say, so that we could stretch that levy one more year. And I'm not going to go through every one of these because we've already discussed it, but these are the positions that, you know, are not being replaced. These are the positions that we're replacing at a lower cost. These are estimated right now because when we do replace them, so we estimate at a specific point on the salary schedule. If we get a teacher who is, you know, the rock star that falls a little bit higher than what we're estimating, and that's what's best for kids, you know, that's who we would hire. Oftentimes it's somebody who is the rock star who's even lower than what we estimated. So like Jennifer said, it's going to be up and down. So these are all estimates. They're not exact. The negative numbers here are items that where we're adding to the cost. Jennifer spoke about these three. The one that she didn't have in her numbers was this one right here, and this is the temporary overlap of the payroll position. This is one time, so this is going to be just for fiscal 27, and then this would go away. I'll be recommending later in my portion of the agenda a hire for a payroll position. So Kelly, who currently does payroll, is ready to end her career at the end of this year. She's going to be moving on. So we would have needed somebody for a few months anyway to train with her and learn our system. USPS is the system that we use for payroll. It's very consistent among school districts, so the actual computer system is consistent. But what every school district does is different. So even if you're an expert at school payroll, every school has things that you need to learn about. The way we handle things, the way all of the contracts apply, every single union contract that you look at from district to district is different. We all have different software applications that kind of feed into payroll, so how we account for leave and all of those types of things. So we would have had some training there anyway. We are hiring her early because we have some other responsibilities and larger projects that we need to get done and get off of our plates. So it seemed like a really good time, and it's going to work to bring her in. She'll be able to spend time with Kelly and help us move along some of these other items that we need to get done by the end of this year. So that's where this difference is. That's why this number that I have is a little bit different from Jennifer's. She was talking just educational stuff. I'm talking district as a whole. So this box right here, again, these are people who are employed by Chagrin. Jennifer talked a little bit about outside contracts. So these are these ESC coaching positions that she spoke about, gifted positions that we were contracting through the ESC. These are the items we're not replacing, items where the contract is still going to exist but being reduced. And then this is the added contract for Anissa that's replacing some of the Schlechte work. Oops. And then other changes Jennifer spoke about, the wellness coaches. Jennifer's numbers are different from mine because she was talking payroll. This, I'm including costs. This assumes that they will be taking family insurance plans, so that bumps that cost up. If that does not happen, again, this number would change and would go down. So best estimates, I know that you all know when we started talking about forecasting and where we wanted to be, you asked us to commit to finding 500,000, and we did that, and we're way beyond that. So,
And still going.
yeah, and still working, and it's not something that once that timeline of Jennifer's is over and we give you the final numbers for this year, that this is not a project that we just do one time and stop. It, as I've said numerous times, we are making these decisions all throughout the year, and this is an ongoing task, but this is where it stands right now for next year's savings.
Do we not need a high school building sub?
We have one, we don't need two.
We don't need to, okay.
There's some opportunities for our actual teachers to do some period subbing. So I think the best decision for us this year is to reduce one, and then we can analyze how many students we need to serve next year and what the schedules are of all the teachers.
And that's already planned for within the CFEA contract, correct?
Building year-long substitutes,
The-
there's
the-
no set
the
number.
The period.
The spot
substitute.
subbing.
Yeah, the spot subbing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. We cleaned all that up and it's all set.
Thanks for doing all this. Thanks for all your efforts. And I know it goes beyond you two, and it trickles down to the whole team, but we appreciate your stewardship of our taxpayer dollars. So one quick question is sort of unrelated, but I'm in Geauga County. Geauga County commissioners, we've heard some community feedback about them enacting a piggyback on both the homestead exemption and the owner occupied rollback. Any idea what that impact would be on our school
So-
budget?
Yeah, so just background for everybody else. When the biennial budget was passed at the state, that's where this piggyback idea came from. It authorized the county commissioners, not county budget commissions, so the county commissioners, to enact they call it a piggyback. What it does is it doubles the homestead and rollback reductions. So, yeah, there's a choice if you can do either or. From what I'm hearing is Geauga is going to enact both.
And Cuyahoga has already made their decision? Or is it just-
Cuyahoga, so
Are we just talking
as
about
far as I
Cuyahoga?
know, Cuyahoga is not considering this.
Okay.
Although in November, I would have told you that Geauga was not considering it because they, at that time, said that they were not. So now they are discussing this again. I believe they're going to be voting on it at their next meeting, which I think is Tuesday morning. And yeah, I think they're going to do two separate resolutions, one for each. The homestead is a loss, it would be a loss to Chagrin of about, I think it's like $101,000. And then the owner occupied, the 2.5% credit is another 200,000. So it would be a loss of revenue to the schools of, based on this current year's numbers of about 306,000 is what I calculated.
Annual.
So,
Or-
yes, and
For-
I'm
for
not
the-
sure.
For the duration of the biennial.
That would
budget.
be a year, yeah. So what happens is they're allowed to double the reduction. So that doubles the reduction for the taxpayer. Right now, those rollbacks are reimbursed to us from the state. So what this piggybacking does is it doubles the reduction to the taxpayer, but the state does not reimburse it. So that's how it's a loss. So that amount for us this year was about $306,000 from Geauga. So if that's doubled, we would still get the reimbursement on the first 306, and the next we would not. So it would be a loss of about 306,000. Yeah.
Did they do any kind of analysis of need or?
That I don't know. I know initially last year in November when they made the decision, they, I think one of the commissioners sent out surveys and they asked questions and, I'm not sure how they came to the decision, or what has changed since then. Honestly, I'm not sure. I just know what, how it would impact us.
Yeah, 300,000 is hard to find.
I mean, given how much
Yeah.
work effort keeps it in, just,
Yeah.
that just cut all that effort incurred.
So. Any other questions? Okay,
All right.
that's my time.
All right, do I need to read the public hearing thing? No, already did that.
No one's here. Well, unless Mike is.
Public
participation on an
I
agenda
think we
item.
can move on from that. All right, consent agenda. Item 7.01, I move to approve all items of the consent agenda as presented. That's items 7.02 through
9.
7.09. Do I have a second?
Can I,
I'll-
sorry.
Yeah.
Did we skip 5?
She said I didn't have to read it out loud, the public hearing, because she already talked about
Oh,
the,
sorry.
yeah,
This
thank
is
you.
the school calendar. not
But
here to-
we've already done
their
the
opinion.
public
And they
talking
can-
So
about.
that was just if people were here to talk about
Right,
it.
they
Gotcha,
they
sorry.
can have it as public participation because our guidelines say it has to be part of the agenda. So we just clarify that they can be on the first part
Okay.
because it's presented. And then if any we get our best feedback through direct contact, through emails or phone calls, those kinds of things. If there's something with the calendar we need to adjust.
Okay, who seconded that?
I did.
Okay.
Oh, I was in the middle of it.
Okay, thanks. Okay. Miller,
Yes.
Ordner,
Yes.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby.
Yes.
Okay. Item 8.01. I move to revise the presented policies. Oh my goodness, do I have to read all these?
No.
As presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Policies are a lot of work, and we had a pretty significant update to work through, so, but we have a strong procedure, a team that goes through and works through all of these parts. We also now have a new partner with Neola, who's really helping us make sure that, because when we transitioned from OSBA to Neola, to make sure that there were no gaps or things forgotten, and so we're going back and just tweaking and adjusting, because we had that span where the two policies overlapped. And we just want to make sure that everything is as tight, if you will, as it can be, and also aligns with all current updates. So you're seeing some of that.
Okay.
Bordner.
Yes.
Hoy.
Yes.
Kilby.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes. Item 8.02, I move to approve the handbooks for Gurney Intermediate School, Middle School, and High School as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I just want to make note that you heard about the 2027-28 calendar tonight, and you got the handbooks, and it's the first meeting in June.
Well
Just saying how strong the team is. Having Erin is a huge benefit to the district to help make sure this work gets done.
Okay.
Hoy.
Yes.
Kilby.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bordner.
Yes.
Item 8.03, I move to approve the updated job descriptions as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And just a reminder that when we do create a position for the district, it's always really important that we approve the job description and then approve the hire. So you'll see the two wellness coaches then be approved later in the agenda. Right after this, 8.04.
Oh, never mind. Got him.
Kilby.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bordner.
Yes.
Hoy.
Yes.
Item 8.04, I move to approve the certified teacher contracts contingent upon meeting all requirements as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Miller.
Yes.
Bordner.
Yes.
Hoy.
Yes.
Kilby.
Yes.
Item 8.05, I move to approve administrative personnel salaries effective August 1st, 2026 as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Bordner.
Yes.
Hoy.
Yes.
Kilby.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes. Item 8.06, I move to approve 10 additional workdays for Sarah Reed, Principal of Data and Assessment, at the current contracted rate. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
So I'm not speaking about any of these because you got a double presentation on it tonight. So if you have any questions, ask Ashley or myself. We're happy to help.
I have one unrelated to anything other than the question that as to which is the reason that we voted on some of the certified personnel in the superintendent's recommendation versus consent, because those were new positions that didn't previously
Correct.
exist?
Yep.
Okay. I got lost for a second.
No worries.
Get re-
Always here to help.
Right. To be clear, though, the wellness coaches are not, I mean, they're new positions
Right, within
of
the
Chagrin, but they're
yes.
not added
Right, they're
positions,
not
they're just
new.
moved.
Yes, they're moved,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Hoy.
Yes.
Kilby.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bordner.
Yes.
Item 8.07, I move to approve the following certified staff for additional hours as presented. Do I have a second?
I second.
And I'm just drawing attention one more time that the agenda that was posted yesterday, we had failed to grab the new negotiated rate for the 6th section stipend. So that's been corrected and updated, and we approved that when we adopted the agenda. So it's just changing Paul Perrine from 2,000 to 2,250.
Kilby.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bordner.
Yes.
Hoy.
Yes.
Item 8.08, I move to approve the following classified staff for additional hours as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Miller.
Yes.
Bordner.
Yes.
Hoy.
Yes.
Kilby.
Yes.
8.09, I move to approve the following volunteers contingent upon meeting all requirements as presented. Do I have a second?
A second?
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes. Item 8.10, I move to approve the contract with Stone Collective Consulting for the 2026-27 school year as presented. Do I have a second?
I second.
I don't know, Ashley, I think we should give a presentation up front all the time.
This makes this pretty easy.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bordner.
Yes.
Item 8.11, I move to approve the contract with Schlechte for the 2026-27 school year as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Kilby,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy.
Yes.
Item 8.12, I move to approve the following supplemental service co-curricular contracts for the 2026-27 school year contingent upon meeting all requirements. Do I have a second?
I second.
Miller,
Yes.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby.
Yes.
Oh, that was a lot.
All right.
Okay.
You're up.
You did it.
9.01 is student course fees for next school year as attached. I'm recommending your approval.
So moved?
I'll
And
s-
seconded.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Oh, one thing I did want to point out on here, should have done it while we were in discussion of it, but you'll notice some costs for ELA courses at the high school that have not been there in the past. That is to cover some of the novels that they would otherwise purchase. And Miss Rossi was able to work with Fireside and get a 20% discount on those books. So it'll actually be cheaper for the parents than if they had just gone to Amazon to buy them. It's not going to cover all of the books, depending on what course you're taking. I mean, I know I feel like I'm every 5 minutes, Isla's asking me to buy a book on Amazon. But it's a start to see how it works, and it's hopefully going to be a cost savings and a convenience for parents too, to just get it out of the way up front, and you don't have to buy those few books that we're going to be purchasing for
And
them.
a community partnership. Could you speak
Right.
really quickly about how the different fees are determined? I mean, do the teachers work that out? Do they work with
So
you?
each building has their own process within their building. And then those fees, they will come up with a list of items, things that they want for their class, things that they're going to be using. And then from there, they'll determine what costs can we ask parents to cover. So, it's typically things that are like uniform supplies that we would otherwise have a student bring in. This way it just ensures that everybody has the same thing. So planners are always included. That's a really good example. The planners that the students get at the beginning of the year, every single kid has the same planner. Otherwise, they would all be different. It would, it makes things easier to have it's a uniform school supply account is what we call that. So it's things like that, things like workbooks where you need every student to have a workbook. Some of the licenses that we'll purchase for
Like an online
memberships, things like that. If there isn't a workbook and the online thing is basically the workbook for the student, that type of thing. It's only going to be things that like the student gets themselves. So it wouldn't be, when we have supplies for a classroom, I don't know, anything that's like a communal supply, we're not passing the cost of all supplies, which I know you guys know that because you see our expenses and you know that we buy a lot of supplies. So we're not passing the cost of all supplies on. It's just things that we would otherwise have a student bring in. That just makes it easier for parents, and it's uniform and everybody gets the same thing.
Thank you.
Okay. Did we already?
Did
We
vote?
called roll on that. Yeah, I was just late. Okay. 9.02 is the insurance renewal for next school year, starting July 1. I'm recommending your approval.
I had a question about this one. Does it-
Let's get the motion in second first,
Oh,
and then we'll
sorry.
discuss it.
Okay.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, now it's open for discussion. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. Does this have like cybersecurity insurance included in it? It does, okay.
Yeah, so we use Love Insurance as our consultants. They help us go out to market or to bid when we need to look at different plans. We've been with Ohio School Plan for a few years now. We were with Liberty Mutual in the past. We moved to the Ohio School Plan, I think it's been 3 years now, to the tune of, I think we were, the first year we saved, I think it was like $56,000. Since then, what we're paying now is still savings from 3 years ago. So we're still paying less. Obviously, costs do continue to go up every year. Valuations go up every year and all of that. But we've been very happy with Ohio School Plan. We've had some claims we've had to deal with, and they've been wonderful. Love Insurance, who is our consultants, they've been wonderful to deal with. They're very helpful. They educate on things when, Mike and I aren't experts on insurance. They are, and they have guided us through some situations where we weren't quite sure what to do. But this includes our property insurance, our liability insurance, crime insurance, and the cybersecurity. Sorry, is it called cybercrime? I think we just call it the cyber policy, but it's cybersecurity, cybercrime.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Okay. Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bordner.
Yes.
Okay, item 9.03 is a then and now. This is for a legal invoice that we had a blanket purchase order open and did not have enough on it. I had not opened the new one yet, so the invoice is dated prior to the PO. I'm recommending approval.
So moved.
I'll second.
Kilby,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bordner.
Yes.
Hoy. Item 9.04 is the monthly financial reports as discussed at the beginning of the meeting. Recommending approval.
So moved?
I second.
Miller,
Yes.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby.
Yes.
Okay. Item 9.05 is recommendation of the payroll coordinator position, which I touched on during my presentation. This will be for, it will be a permanent position, but it will only be doubled up on for the 6 months because Kelly unfortunately will be leaving us. So I am recommending approval.
So moved.
I'll second.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
And I will tell you, I'm very excited to get Christy on board. She has significant experience in payroll. She comes highly recommended. And I actually have worked with her in the past as well, so I know what I'm getting. And I'm pretty excited about it, so. 9.06 is transitional days, so the contract that you just approved is July 1, just like all of our other exempt contracts. She is able to start, however, on Monday, and I wanted to get her in as soon as possible, so this is for those few days from June 22nd to June 30th, so that I can pay her to be here. I'm recommending approval.
Okay, so moved?
I'll second.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bordner.
Yes.
Okay, public participation? I don't think so. Announcement of the next meeting. Our next regular board meeting will be June 30th, right here in Sands Community Room at 7 PM.
And then, we don't vote on that, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
So then I do move, item 13.01, that we move into executive session, in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 121.22, for the sole purpose of the consideration of the following matters: to consider one or more as applicable of the check of marked items with respect to a public employee or official, employment, and discipline.
Wait, a second?
Kilby,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Wardner,
Yes.
Hoy.
Yes.
All right, no action will be taken
Correct.
after executive session.
8:08.